Welcome back, everyone, to Game 4 of India versus Africa, with Africa having a 2-1 lead on India, and they're looking to pull off the upset. And for this Game 4, we have Blimax of Team India versus Amir of Team Africa. And if we look at the teams, we have Blimax using a stall team, basically, with Chansey, Hippowdon, Corviknight, Tangrowth, basically a stall team. And the goal of a stall team is to basically outlast the opponent. And traditionally, you'll see stall teams with, Clefabelle and Blissey. But this is a different style of stall team, but the concept is the same. Last longer than your opponent. And Amir is using a really cool rain team. And rain teams are known for being very powerful, very offensive. And we can see that here. We can see Crawdont and Kingdra. And Crawdont is a powerful physical attacker in rain because of adaptability and rain. Its crab hammers are extremely strong. And then Kingdra has Swift Swim in rain, which makes it even stronger. So you have like a nice synergy pair with a physical attacker and a special attacker. And then you have, Hazard's Pharaoh Seed, you have Tapu Koko, and an interesting thing is that Tapu Koko, we usually see it run a more balanced approach. We see, Dazzling Gleam, U-Turn Roost on most teams, okay? But on a rain team, Tapu Koko has more flexibility. So we see things like, Choice Specs Thunder, for example, Choice Specs Grass Knot. So Tapu Koko on rain is much more offensive, usually. So what this game is going to come down to, basically, like looking at the matchup, is that unfortunately Crawdont is walled by Tangrowth, and Kingdra is walled by Chansey. So, but that's all in a vacuum, like 1v1 or switching in. But the one weakness Chansey has is that it doesn't have heavy duty boots. So if Amir can get spikes up with Pharaoh Thorn, or he can get Stealth Rocks up, or anything, he can put a lot of pressure on Chansey because it does not have heavy duty boots. So that's going to be the key for Amir right now, that he can't break it in a vacuum, but if he plays well, he gets chip damage, he gets his hazards damage, he can win the game, even though it looks tough at first. And we see the Tapu Koko lead, and he's just going to go Chansey on the Tapu Koko. It's playing it safe. He doesn't want to risk Grass Knot on Hippowdon, for example. And that lets Lando comes in, and Lando reveals to be Stealth Rock, which is basically saying that it's going to be Stealth Rock Lando and then Spike's Ferrothorn. And at turn 4, we have the first key moment of the game. And Tangrowth reveals Infestation, which is an uncommon move. And what it does is it traps Ferrothorn. And remember earlier when I said Ferrothorn was going to be important in the game? Now Ferrothorn is basically going to be doing nothing because it's going to be trapped, it's going to lose all its health, and then Corviknight can just defog later. So Blimax did a really good job of using this unique set of Infestation to basically remove Ferrothorn from the game. And because Ferrothorn is gone from the game, hazards are not going to be an issue for Blimax. And hazards were the way that Amir needed to use to win. So a very nice play on Blimax's part to basically remove the hazards from the game. And now Amir can still make progress, but it's going to be a lot tougher without spikes up. He goes Coco, Electric Terrain, and he goes for the Thunder, Choice Specs Thunder. But Blimax makes the read, he goes Hippowdon. And Blimax decides that I'm going to Toxic the Lando, which is good, because now Lando is going to be taking damage every time it comes in. And he goes Pelipper for the rain, and here Blimax made another good play. He made the double Toxic, predicting the Pelipper switch in. So now Pelipper is Toxic, Landorus is Toxic. It's looking pretty bad for Amir, but Amir still has chances with Kingdra, with Crawdont. He still has chances, but it's going to be a lot tougher now. he goes Coco, and he goes Hippowdon playing it safe, and Coco U-turns, and now a water type can come in, Kingdra. And remember, there's Sandstorm up, there's Stealth Rock up, so Chansey can be in trouble if Amir plays right. And then Amir makes a good play right here, and he uses Flip Turn. So that does 11. And he goes immediately into Crawdaunt, forcing Chansey out. And now Chansey has to switch out, and when it switches back in, guess what? It's going to take Stealth Rock again. So Amir is playing his way into a good spot right now, even though the matchup was bad. And he makes another good switch in, and he goes Tangrowth. He goes Kingdra on Tangrowth. And again, he's pressuring the Tangrowth because if Tangrowth stays in, for example, then it can die, and then Crawdaunt can win the game later. So he's putting a lot of pressure on that Chansey, and he's really taking advantage of the fact that it doesn't have heavy-duty boots. So Blimax is in trouble right now, and he decides to go Volcarona, and Amir flip turns expecting the Chansey. So basically, Blimax made a middle ground play. Like, he didn't want to stay in with Tangrowth, but neither did he want to go to Chansey. And long-term Volcarona, it's a fire type versus rain. So it probably wasn't going to be very useful, so he decides to risk Volcarona here. And he gets a lucky burn on Kingdra. And that means Kingdra is going to be taking damage every time it comes in, which is big. And we can see that what's happening is that Amir is slowly starting to run out of power because everything is toxic, it's burned, stealth rocks are up, there's going to be chip damage. And meanwhile, on Blimax's side, he's still keeping his health up. He's able to, like a stall team is supposed to do, it's stalling out the opponent, and the opponent is, slowly but surely running out of health. 10%, toxic, burned, toxic. And it's basically a textbook example of how to play stall. Keep your health up, play it safe, and then keep bringing down the opponent as much as you can. And we see Corviknight come in on Landorus because it can defog the Stealth Rocks. But he makes a nice play and U-turns into Crawdaunt. But unfortunately, without any sort of hazards up, Crawdaunt cannot break through Tangrowth. Tangrowth is just too bulky. We see the Giga Drain on the Lando, and slowly but surely the chip damage is accumulating, and there's really not much Amir can do at this point. And he's trying desperately to, get some momentum, make some progress, but the stall team is just too fat for the matchup, and it's basically over at this point. He's trying some tricks with, getting Rain up, but it's really not going to be enough to really get through the team. Because even in Crawdaunt and Rain boosted +2 knockoff, it does only 64. And that's basically a wrap. There's not much he could do with this type of matchup, and it looks like India is going to be not taking a lead, but they're going to be tying the series back at 2-2 as we move to Game 5. And with the best of 7, Game 5 is going to be really crucial because it's going to be really crucial because whoever wins Game 5, after that, they only need one more win to make it to the next round. And Amir eventually forfeits because he knows, even though he has 5 Pokemon left, it's really not enough to break through. And yeah, that's that. Game 5 will be coming up soon, and it'll be exciting to see what happens then. Thank you.